wanted to show you what a typical weekend looks like, especially right after a time change. The time change has been really hard on Barry. He works full time, as he's mentioned in a previous video. So by the time he gets home, it's dark. So it's really left us with less time to get all the things done that need to be done around the farm during the day that maybe I can't accomplish with the kids. So that means that everything is all packed into 2 days in a weekend. And then sometimes the kids have activities and stuff like that. So this is just a weekend wrap up to kind of show you what all goes on, especially at a time of year when the harvests are starting to happen. So that makes everything much, much more busy. It makes the things that need to be done a little bit different. It's also the time of year when we have the most amount of animals on our property at one time. Check it out. So I'm out here with my son, Evan. Barry is at work, and I looked outside just a minute ago and we had a pig out. Luckily, it's not a large black, it was a cooney. So here we are. We wanted to show you how we get them back in the fence. But first we have to put the chickens back. Oh goodness. Because we have a feed bucket, the chickens are following us. All right, so we gotta figure out how to make them stay. Let's just throw them a little bit. And hopefully they'll stay. All right, so what we did is we went to the barn and we grabbed 2 feed buckets, and the pig that was out, we're walking down the field. He has walked back towards the group. So what we're gonna do is go inside, and with 1 bucket, we'll feed the pigs that are still in the fence so they don't come out on us. And then we'll find the one that's roaming and walk him back in the hole and then fix the hole. See, here's a spot where we lost the rooster. Something got it in the night. And there's our roaming friend in that tall grass right there. Oh,
there's 2.
There's several roaming friends. That's not great. At 5:30 a.m. Barry didn't get home last night after the pigs got out until like 10 o'clock at night. So he didn't get to look at what's going on until this morning at about 6 a.m. when there was a little bit of light. He found that there was some dirt on the line, and so he went ahead and got that off and got them fed good. And last he checked, they're at a 4,000 volt on their power line. So that should keep them in for the day until we can get back. And now we're on our way to a competition for our favorite little girl. So crazy weekend, y'all. It's Sunday morning. I'm getting ready to cook some breakfast. All the kids and Barry are out doing some chores with the pigs and the animals, feeding everybody, getting them some water to get started for the day. Yesterday, Elise's team placed 4th. Woohoo! And on our way back, we found out that my grandma had broke down and she got a ride home, but we had to come home, feed the animals, and then Barry had to go back out and pick up her car. My cousin wound up having a hole in her tire, so Barry wound up putting a plug in that one. And we slept last night, of course. We got up early this morning, and on the docket for today is to move both sets of pigs, move the turkeys, and get a last and final weight on them before they are processed next Friday. And Elise brought us a silkie this morning. and he isn't doing so well, and we don't think he's going to make it, so we're probably going to have to cull him out. So crazy busy, sad day on the farm today. Guys, we're halfway through the day. It's about noon now. The coonies have been moved, the turkeys have been moved. We still have large blacks. We still need to weigh turkeys. The list just goes on and on. I'm in the laundry room getting some stuff put in the dryer, and I wanted to mention our crazy weekend. So just to recap, on Friday we had a pig get out and found out that there were 4 babies out. Well, Evan and I were able to get them back in, but then on Friday night Barry didn't get home until really late. By the time Barry got home, it was already really dark, and he wasn't able to look at everything. So he got up at 5 a.m. He got up at 5:30 a.m. on Saturday to go out and try to figure out what was going on before we went to a competition with our kids. Once he figured out that there was some dirt on the line, he was able to shake that out and get the pigs contained. I'd love to tell you that pigs never get out, but what I'll tell you instead is that pigs are really, really smart, and if your fencing is not as strong as it should be, like in that situation, that's what happened. The fencing was not as strong as it should be because it had dirt on it, and that dirt was shortening the fence out and making it much, much less strong than it should have been. So when we got back from the competition on Saturday, after finding out that my grandma's car had broke down, Barry went out to the field, and actually he thought he heard another pig out. Apparently one had been out that I didn't see, but it was dark, so he wasn't able to really see it, and he had to just kind of let it be. So he fed everybody and went and got my grandma's car and brought it here. And we got into bed probably about 11 o'clock that night. And then the next day, we woke up really, really early. We went out, did the moving of our coonies. We moved the turkeys. He tried to move the large blacks, but he ran out of materials to build their hot wire. So he has to pick that up, and we'll try to get that done quickly sometime this week or next weekend. Then we had a sick chicken that we had to cull out, so it was a really sad thing to have to go through on a Sunday. And we were just talking about things, and this is what a typical harvest weekend starts looking like. In addition to all that stuff that you saw, we're also checking out our processing equipment and making sure that we were ready to process on Friday. We are also trying to get the turkeys ready, make sure they weigh the same amount that they should. We have to make sure that the plucker is ready. We have to make sure the scalder is ready. Our scalder needed a new part, so I've ordered that. That'll be here hopefully in a couple of days from Amazon, and we'll be able to get that fixed. Nothing ever goes right on the farm. And during the harvest, it doesn't make it magically start going right. Unfortunately, it just makes everything take longer. And things start happening. There's family things, there's kid things, there's grandma things, there's all kinds of things that just seemed, and if you'd asked me last weekend, I don't remember exactly what we did last weekend because everything is so busy right now. But last weekend, none of the stuff that happened this weekend happened last weekend. Everything's always different. So when you talk about being ready to be on a farm and to own a farm and everything looks all nice and cute and pretty, you see things on YouTube and you see all the good stuff and you see the harvest. You're like, oh man, they've got so many vegetables. Oh man, look at all that meat they have. Please know that behind all that, there's so much work. There's so many things that are going wrong. There are so many things that need to be done. The harvest is a busy, busy time. The only thing I can tell you is it's always well worth it in the end. Anyway, that's our weekend wrap up, and that's our talk for today. Thanks.